How's it going? That's Larry Krueger. I'm Grant Cohn. Silly me. I thought the Niners might do something today. Not like trade 3 first-round picks or win the day, but something. Trade Juwan Jennings, trade a 7th-round pick for a player on the team. No, they did nothing. They're either supremely confident that they're going to win the Super Bowl this year, or they're supremely confident that they're not even in the mix. Larry, what do you think of the Niners' bold, daring strategy?
Yeah, very uninspired, very unimpressed today. Very disappointed just because, are the 49ers as good as they were at the beginning of camp without Bosa and Warner? No. But I look at the rest of this league. I mean, Buffalo just lost Ed Oliver. The Packers just lost Tucker Kraft. You get foundation piece players falling on other teams. You don't see them just throwing in the white towel. I feel like this is a give up kind of a thing. You couldn't get anybody. You couldn't get Arden Key. You have no pass rush since Nick Bosa checked out, and you've got Stafford and a 400-yard passing day staring you in the crosshairs Sunday, and you didn't feel any need to get. You're good with what you got. You're really good with Keon White, Cleve Farrell, and Robert Beal. I mean, you're cool with that. That's what you're good with. So, I mean, to me, it just shows low standards, either low expectations, low standards, or some illogical belief in the current cast. But either way, unless they can go poach a dangerous pass rusher off somebody's practice squad, they're going to have to get through the rest of the year with Sam Aquinu, Keon White, Bryce Huff off an injured ankle, Robert Beal, who hasn't been able to play dead. What do you got? You got nothing. You got absolutely nothing. So to me, it's very disappointing. And not only that, it's stupid. Why is it stupid? Because Upton Stout is young. Marquise Siegel is young. Malik Mustafa is young. Jair Brown is young. Renardo Green is young. Darrell Luter's young. You have one of the youngest secondaries in pro football, and nothing helps a secondary more than a pass rush, and nothing hurts a secondary more than having to play and defend and mirror guys without that pass rush, and they're killing their young DBs, killing them.
And I'm not saying they needed to trade for like a Micah Parsons equivalent. They needed to get Trey Hendrickson, although why the hell not? But so let's say he's not available. The Browns at 5-3 traded for Joe Tryon Shoyinka. They gave up a 7th-round pick. Like, they just added someone. I mean, Cleveland Farrell is on the Niners practice squad. He doesn't count. Sam O is fine and Bryce Huff is pretty good. But how do you not add anyone? That's what I don't understand. And it's like, you could have added at the bottom of the basement. You could have added you could trade for someone for a 7th-round pick, or you could have been really aggressive and traded for Quinnen Williams. I really like that trade from the Cowboys' perspective, because it's not even about this year. They have 3 wins. They're not going to win the Super Bowl this year, but they're like, why don't we go get one of the best players in the league because he's available? Where were the Niners on that? Oh, we can't do that because we need to keep our 1st-round pick so we can draft the next Mykel Williams. I mean, no offense to Mykel Williams, who's going through it right now, but he's never going to be Quinnen Williams. The Niners have never drafted a defensive tackle that good. At least John Lynch hasn't. And they're just saying, don't worry, next year is going to be our year. It seems so smug. Oh, we lost Nick Bosa and Fred Warner, so who cares that we're 6-3? Yeah, we have really good coaches. We can sort of figure it out for a few months, but we're not really going anywhere. Next year is our year. We're going to be really healthy in 2026.
Yeah, I mean, it's nonsense. Kittle's going to be better next year. CMC is going to be better next year. Trent Williams is even going to be on the team next year. Is he going to even be there? I mean, these are your best players.
It's such a slap in the face of Christian McCaffrey in particular. Look at the effort he gave for the first half of the season. He can't keep this up. He needs some freaking help. What's he going to be next year? 30.
Well, not only that, I mean, it's like, do we need a refresher course in, it's like, we don't want to trade our day 1 or day 2 picks. All right. Well, let's review why that's stupid. C.J. Beathard, day 2 pick. Ahkello Witherspoon, day 2 pick. Reuben Foster, day 1 pick. Solomon Thomas, top 5 day 1 pick. That's 4 busts in 2017 alone. Mike McGlinchey, 1st-round pick. Dante Pettis, 2nd-round pick. Tavarius Moore, 3rd-round pick. Now we're at 7 busts in 2 drafts. Let's get to the 3rd year. Jalen Hurd, 3rd-round pick. Now you're at 8 busts. Javon Kinlaw, 1st-round pick, 9 busts. Now you're at Trey Lance, 1st-round pick, 10 bust.
That was 3 first-round picks, Trey Lance.
Yeah, and Trey Sermon, 1st-round pick, or 3rd-round pick. Ambry Thomas, 3rd-round pick. Those guys are busts. Let's go to the next year. Drake Jackson's a bust. Ty Davis Price is a bust. Danny Gray's a bust. Those were your day 2 picks. Then we'll go to the next draft. Jair Brown to this point has been a bust. Jake Moody's been a bust. Cam Latu's been a bust. Those are your first 3-round picks. Let's go to 2024. Ricky Pearsall is hurt always, not doing much. And then in this year, Nick Martin can't get on the field. He was your 3rd-round pick. You're not getting tons of production out of that. I mean, it's just like you're guarding these picks like each one of these guys is going to be a foundation piece, but you're proving every year that you can't really pick. So it's like, it's a double loss. It's like the Rams realized they were missing on too many picks, and Les Snead said, okay, we're going to go for Ramsey and Stafford, and we're going to go for some veterans and win this Super Bowl. And they did it. The 49ers are like, no, we're not making these picks, but the same guys are going to make them this year as next year, has made them this year, has made them last year. And, you got foundation pieces. You don't have to trade for somebody who's a free agent at the end of the year. When they traded for Trent, it wasn't like he was gone at the end of the year. He's still here. They traded for Christian. It wasn't like he was gone at the end of the year. He's still here. So, keep building. I wouldn't do it just for this year. They acted like they're not going to exist as a franchise. Like the NFL believes in relegation and the Niners are going to get relegated to the UFL next year and they're not going to be in the NFL. Get a player that you have for this year and next year. Is it that complicated? You couldn't get a player that you have for this year and next year. You couldn't get Arden Key, Jermaine Johnson, Michael Clemens. Nobody out there had a defensive end that was better than what you got. It's preposterous.
It just seems so smug to sit at 6-3 and say, no, we're not that good. What do you mean you're not that good? You're 6-3. Look at the teams that actually were buyers at the deadline. The Ravens, with their 3 wins, the Bears were buyers. The Eagles were buyers.
The Cowboys.
The Cowboys
just got gutted last night at home by Jacoby Brissett and the Cardinals, and today they're adding Quinnen Williams. And you know what? That's a good move for them.
All these teams were buyers, but the 40. Who were you scared of? The Jaguars went out and got a wide receiver because Travis Hunter went down. Like, you almost beat the Jaguars with Brock Purdy playing at 15% health. They're not that good. No team. The Colts aren't that good, and they traded for 2 firsts for Sauce Gardner. I just think the Niners, in a league of parity and mediocrity, they're right there with anyone. They're as good as any team in the league. They could beat any team. They could lose to any team. And this was just an opportunity for them to differentiate themselves a little bit and seize a moment in a season where, you tell me who's going to win the Super Bowl this year, Larry. Who's going to win?
Yeah, it's wide freaking open. I'd probably go with the Rams the Rams are probably going to win the Super Bowl at Levi's. And the Niners have already beat in their house. Yeah. They beat them in LA. Yeah, it's a very disappointing performance for the 49ers at the trade deadline. Their lack of competitive fire in this thing really is aggravating. And it's like, you're tucking tail because Warner and Bosa and CMC and Kittle and Trent are all 22? No. So what are you tucking tail for? You're going to be better next year? You can't even project. You can't even know what you're going to be in 3 weeks, but definitively you're going to be better in 2026. It's illogical. And here's the other thing. What's probably going on here is the part that we're never going to get the answer to, because John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan like to create the image that they are the masters of their own universe, but they're not. They're employees that work for Jed. And Jed probably, the way Lynch and Shanahan have been talking down about the trade deadline and the possibility makes me think that Jed told them months ago, we ain't giving you a bunch of stuff to trade. You're not trading a bunch of assets. If Jed is in any way doesn't believe in this tandem, he might have yanked their sheets and said, hey, you can move nominal day 3 stuff, but you're not moving foundation picks from my team. He might have put his foot down. The York's been known to meddle. They may be meddling here behind the scenes. You're never going to find out the answer. Lynch is never going to out them. Shanahan's never going to out them, and they're never going to paint themselves as employees that don't have any power. They like to paint themselves as the master of the Niner universe, and they control all, but that's not the truth. The truth is Jed and Dr. John York and Denise and any number of other people have their say. And that's probably what's going on here. Lynch never acted like a major deal was possible. He always made it seem like it wasn't. Shanahan always made it seem like a major deal was not possible. No, there's no interview that they did. There's no media that they did where they sounded enthusiastic about making any significant addition at the trade deadline, because they probably deep down had already been told by Jed and the Yorks that wasn't going down. It wasn't happening. That's my belief.
And I think when you give that contract to Brock Purdy, I'm not blaming Brock Purdy. I mean, you wanted to go into business. You wanted to make him one of the highest paid. You wanted one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the league. He was there. This is the fallout from it. You go to Parag Marathe, John Lynch goes, Jed York goes and says, hey, we'd like to trade for an edge rusher. We'd like to trade for Quinnen Williams. Can we fit it into our future budget? And Parag says, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing he'd say, no, can't. Sorry. We talked about this in the offseason. To fit Brock Purdy in our plans, we have to draft and draft and draft and draft. So draft better. And the thing that's disheartening about this is we have 9 years of track record for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch and Parag Marathe. They're not particularly great at drafting. They hit sometimes, but their batting average is pretty low. And that's why I think their best moves have been when they've traded draft picks for proven players. Trent Williams, Christian McCaffrey. Those are some of the best moves they've made in the last decade. And they could have made one. If they had traded for Quinnen Williams today, no Niner fan would be upset. Yeah, you'd be out a first and a second round pick, but guess what? You'd have a Ring of Honor type of player reunited with Robert Saleh, and you'd be in first place in your division. I mean, it'd be good times, but you know what? You don't.
I mean, your first round picks of this regime have been, outside of the Bosa Ayuk draft, have been an absolute freaking train wreck. Reuben Foster, Solomon Thomas, Mike McGlinchey. Once again, they got Bosa in 2019. He picked himself. He was the second pick in the draft. Javon Kinlaw, Trey Lance. You got Ayuk. That was a good one. Ricky Pearsall. Mikael Williams.
He had a good month. Mikael Williams has 3 quarterback hits in 9 games. And look,
is there a Pro Bowler in there? Is there?
No, I mean, even Mikael Williams,
a Pro Bowler?
Like the Solomon Thomas pick all over again. Doesn't really have a position. Mikael Williams is a small defensive tackle, just like Solomon Thomas. Different body types, longer arms, but not a defensive end. He's a small defensive tackle. And we got the first glimpse at Walter Nolan last night. He looked great.
Yeah, Walter Nolan. I mean, this was like what I was talking about. Walter Nolan was a 5-star, played at A&M. He was just incredible. He's a massive 305-pound guy who's got movement like a defensive end. And he had some injuries at the beginning of this year, but look what he did last night. He basically equaled Mikael Williams' entire season production in one game.
Yeah, and they didn't draft him because he doesn't, quote unquote, fit the wide 9. Guess what? Ditch the wide 9. Get the best players. Stop drafting.
That's not true either.
Schemes.
That's just not true. He doesn't fit he does fit the wide 9. Anybody who can rush the passer and move around in different spots absolutely fits the wide 9. If anybody with the Niners,
you want to be as good against the run as they're trying to be this year while using the wide 9, you have to have guys like Jordan Elliott and run stuffing space eaters. But that means you don't take Walter Nolan, who might be freaking Warren Sapp. So be flexible is all I'm saying.
Well, I mean, how about this? Here's my philosophy. Draft great players. Draft great players.
I like that strategy.
Don't draft okay players. Don't draft pretty good players. Draft great players. Why are the Lions the Lions? Why are the Lions the Lions? The Lions are the Lions because of Brian Branch, Aiden Hutchinson, Penei Sewell, Jahmyr Gibbs. They have drafted great
because
players.
Brad Holmes knows what the hell he's doing.
Yes, he does.
Yes. And you know what? I think the Niners, to wrap up this topic before we move on, I think they're working out a little bit of a deficit in the NFC if They don't have their own Brad Holmes. I mean, they have a good coach. They have a good defensive coordinator. They have a good scouting department, but what do they have at the general manager position? We don't know. We never really going to know what John Lynch does, but it's hard to compare him to Brad Holmes, Howie Roseman, some of these other guys around the league.
Yeah, I don't think John's the worst general manager of all time, but I mean, think about it. What's the likelihood that a guy who had a skill set that was good enough to be a Hall of Fame safety is also going to be like this Hall of Fame executive? I mean, most people don't have one. They're not blessed with one great trait. This guy supposedly he's a Hall of Famer this way and he's a Hall of Famer that way. You know, he's a great face of the franchise, but he should be the president of the team, and they should have a director of college scouting who knows the college game like the back of his hand, who knows the crop of players like the back of his hand. That should be the GM. John's a great face of the franchise. He's a way better face of the franchise than they've ever had before, but he's a total unproven entity as a general manager. And I think the Niners, listening to John talk about his process and his analytics department, his scouts, his coaches, it's like if you're gonna introduce 25 people to an equation, you're just introducing, more heads, but also more people that can make mistakes. And I think that at its core is the Niners' problem in personnel, is that they have so many cooks in the kitchen that they hit, they miss, they hit, they miss, they miss, they hit, they hit, they hit, they miss, they miss. It's just to win the championship, you're going to have to hit on 7 or 8 picks in a row. Generally, that's one personnel guy with a great vision. And that's what the Lions have. And that's what the Eagles have. And I'm not sure that the Niners have that.
Which position are you confident that John Lynch can get right in round one? D end, he took Solomon Thomas and Mykel Williams. D tackle, he took Javon Kinlaw. Wide receiver, well, Brandon Ayuk was really good, but Ricky Pearsall can't stay healthy. Quarterback, Trey Lance. I mean, if the plan is to hoard draft picks so that John Lynch can build for the future, I don't know about that plan. It seems like a better plan would be to use the draft picks to get players are good. You absolutely know. No projection necessary. I mean, the best move the Niners made this year was trading for Bryce Huff. You knew what he could do. You didn't try to draft the next edge rusher. You can't find him. You drafted Robert Beal. You drafted Drake Jackson. Have some humility and some self-awareness. Just saying.
Well,
but you know what?
I want to defer to Lynch and say, man, Lynch and his scouts, they know all. What do I know? But I was screaming and yelling all throughout the month of March, go get Jaylen Walker. He is the special Georgia defensive end. He is the special Georgia pass rusher. And you go Georgia pass rusher and Jaylen Walker's on the board and you don't take him? And you badly need an edge rusher? What do you think Jaylen Walker is? He's a better version of Bryce Huff. That's what he is.
Yeah.
Look what he's doing for the Falcons. You beat the Falcons, and that's good, but they didn't have Jaylen Walker that night. And that was a big part of why you won him.
Well, he's not really a 4-3 DN. Does he really fit the wide 9 defense? Is he more of a 3-4 outside line? Who gives a shit about the scheme, man? What you do at 11 in particular is you're taking the best player available and figuring it out. Because if you have a future Hall of Famer, fuck the scheme. The scheme doesn't matter. You have Jaylen Walker. Your defense is gonna be good if you ran a 2-7, whatever that is.
Jaylen Walker is a difference-making player off the edge. That's what he was at Georgia. And it's not like a mystery either. I mean, if you watch Georgia, and I'm sure the Niners had to watch Georgia to take Mikel, you had to have seen that Mikel played in a rotation. He didn't play a lot. He didn't get a lot done. There wasn't a lot of production there, and you take him 11th overall, and you pass Jaylen Walker, and now here you are at the deadline, and you're looking for edge rushers.
You're looking for Jaylen Walker.
And Jaylen Walker is probably the most dominant edge rusher in the game today that nobody's talking about. This guy's doing it every Sunday. Look at the film. Go watch the film of the Falcons and tell me that you took the right guy. You didn't take the right guy. You took the wrong guy. You didn't take an edge rusher. You took some kind of interior rusher who's undersized. I like Mykel Williams' talent, but he's not an edge rusher. He's not an every down player. He's kind of a rotational interior rusher, who's undersized. I mean, come on, man. Jaylen Walker is going to the Pro Bowl. Mykel Williams is not going to the Pro Bowl.
Well, look again. We Larry and I, having sort of a passionate response to this. Neither of us know exactly why the Niners didn't make a move today. It's possible that the front office didn't believe in the team. It's possible that the owners didn't give the okay. It's possible that John Lynch just didn't have a good cell phone service plan. I just don't know. Maybe he didn't have service, and so that's why today's show is sponsored by Mint Mobile. Because at Mint Mobile, their favorite word is no. No contracts, no monthly bills, no overages, no hidden fees, no BS. Are you listening, John? Because this could come in handy next time you're at the trade deadline. Ditch overpriced wireless and their jaw-dropping monthly bills, unexpected overages, and hidden fees. Plans start at just $15 a month at Mint, which I'm pretty sure the 49ers can't afford. Make the switch at mintmobile.com/Cohn. That's mintmobile.com/COHN. Upfront payment of $45 required. That's like a signing bonus, equivalent of $15 a month. Limited time, new customer offer for first 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. See Mint Mobile for details. Maybe that's what John Lynch needs, just a better cell phone service plan, because you actually have to call people and talk